66 million years ago, an asteroid the size of Mount Everest was on a deadly path toward Earth. The collision was so catastrophic, it wiped out the largest, most lethal reptiles to ever walk the Earth. But dinosaurs didn't just vanish from a single impact. No, they faced a slow, lingering demise. How did this extinction event create the biggest tsunami Earth has ever known? And what exactly happened after the massive reptiles disappeared? Buckle up, we're about to take you on a journey like no other. This world-ending asteroid is terrifying. It wasn't just 10 kilometers wide, but it also sped toward Earth at an incredible pace, between 10 and 30 kilometers per second. At this stage, it was a blazing inferno. The air before it was being compressed and superheated to unimaginable levels. Just moments before impact, the asteroid could have reached temperatures as hot as the sun. Once it entered Earth's atmosphere, it took only seconds for this massive rock to hit the surface, forever changing the course of life. As the asteroid crashed into Earth near what is now Mexico, it released massive amounts of debris into the atmosphere. The explosive shockwave obliterated everything in its path. And from here, things only got worse. Yes, 66 million years ago, Earth was going through a rough patch. Right now, our planet isn't facing a huge asteroid, but we are grappling with ever-worsening environmental crises. If you think it's time to act, stick around for an incredible recommendation from our friends at Planet Wild. You don't want to miss it. This colossal blast shot chunks of Earth's surface into the air, and minutes later, scorching hot pieces of rock and glass rained down. Some of the debris reacted with the atmosphere, creating acid rain that would last for years. The land ignited. The fires sparked by the devastating impact spread like wildfire, killing more life along the way. And just when you thought this apocalyptic nightmare couldn't get worse, it did. The asteroid's collision was so powerful, it sent shockwaves throughout the planet. All that energy had to go somewhere. Enter the mega tsunami. A massive wall of water over 10 meters high rushed across the ocean. This wasn't your typical tsunami. It was a staggering 30,000 times stronger than anything seen today. As this monstrous wave raced across the North Atlantic and South Pacific, coastlines stood no chance. The wave hit with such intensity that it reshaped the continent. If you had witnessed this apocalyptic destruction, you wouldn't survive. But some dinosaurs did. Yes, those farther from ground zero weren't instantly obliterated by the blast. They weren't incinerated by the fires. And they avoided being swept away by the mega tsunami. But their fate was sealed. As the dust began to settle, it marked the beginning of a nuclear winter. Although it wasn't caused by nuclear bombs, the effect was identical. The vast amounts of debris in the air blocked sunlight for months, maybe even years. Earth became a cold, dark world. And the dinosaurs weren't prepared for this. As temperatures plummeted and fires released massive amounts of greenhouse gases, the climate shifted dramatically. Plants could no longer photosynthesize, and many died off. This disrupted the food chain and starved many survivors. And remember the acid rain? It lasted for years, devastating ecosystems. The oceans grew too acidic for marine life. Most ocean species didn't have time to adapt to such drastic changes. These harsh conditions, along with the initial blast, pushed about 75% of life into extinction. The good news? This included the terrifying T-Rex, though I feel for this guy. I'm glad he's not roaming today. When the last of the dinosaurs drew their final breath, Earth was a desolate wasteland, cold and toxic. So when did life return to normal? Well, here's the thing. It didn't. Not in the dinosaur era sense. Earth didn't just rebuild. It reinvented itself. 1,000 years later, the planet was still recovering from its post-apocalyptic winter. It was still cold and food was scarce, but life began to bounce back. In this new world, small furry critters were darting around. Among the first plants to return were ferns. They flourished after the catastrophe. 100,000 years later, Earth started to show signs of life. Creatures the size of raccoons were repopulating the lands. The oceans again teemed with life. Fast forward 10 million years, and Earth had fully restored its biodiversity. But it wasn't the same Earth as before. Now it was the age of mammals. Yes, after the dinosaurs' exit, mammals ruled. Not literally, of course. Mammals, alongside birds and flowering plants, dominated the planet. Earth never truly returned to its old self. After the last dinosaur passed, it took millions of years for life to finally flourish again.